Hey everyone! I was supposed to write this script 3 days ago, but here we are, the night before filming, and I'm finally doing it. Sound familiar? If you've ever put off an important task until the last possible second, welcomed back, you're in good company. Studies show that about 95% of people procrastinate at least occasionally, and around 20% of us are chronic procrastinators. Today, we're diving into why our brains do this to us, and I promise, it's not because you're lazy. Stick around to the end for one simple trick that actually works. Here's the thing. Everyone gets wrong about procrastination. We think it's a time management problem. Oh, I just need a better planner, a new app, color-coded sticky notes. But here's what science tells us. Procrastination is actually an emotion regulation problem. Let me explain. When you think about that task you're avoiding, maybe it's writing an essay, starting your taxes, or going to the gym, what happens? You feel something uncomfortable, right? Maybe it's anxiety about doing it wrong, or overwhelm because it's so big, or just plain boredom because your brain thinks scrolling TikTok is way more interesting. And here's where it gets interesting. Your brain treats that uncomfortable feeling like a threat, so it does what it's designed to do. It looks for the quickest way to feel better right now. And boom! Suddenly, you're reorganizing your sock drawer or watching just one more video. The psychologist Dr. Tim Peichel puts it perfectly. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem, not a time management problem. There's another reason we procrastinate, and it's built into how our brains work. It's called present bias. Basically, your brain values immediate rewards way more than future rewards. Like way more. Even if the future reward is objectively better. Here's an example. Imagine I offer you $50 today or $100 in a month. Logically, waiting is the better deal. You double your money. But a lot of people would take the $50 today. That's present bias. The same thing happens with tasks. The immediate reward of watching Netflix feels more valuable to your brain than the future reward of having finished your project. Even though future, you would definitely prefer to have it done. This is why deadlines actually help us. They bring the consequences closer to the present. It's not until the essay is due tomorrow that the pain of not doing it, finally, outweighs the pain of actually doing it. And this is why we say things like, I work better under pressure. You don't actually work better. You finally work because your brain can't escape the present consequences anymore. Now, there's one more huge reason people procrastinate that nobody talks about enough. Perfectionism. I know. You're thinking, but I'm not a perfectionist. My room is a mess and I turned in that assignment half finished. But perfectionism isn't really about being perfect. It's about fear. Fear of being judged, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. So, if you have high standards for yourself, which a lot of procrastinators do, starting a task means risking not meeting those standards. And that feels terrible. So your brain goes, you know what's better than potentially failing? Not trying at all. It's like the task has to be perfect in your head before you can even start it in reality. But here's the problem. That perfect version will never exist, so you just don't start. I see this all the time with creative projects. Someone wants to start a YouTube channel, but they need the perfect camera first, the perfect lighting, the perfect topic, and 6 months later, they still haven't filmed anything. Okay, so we've talked about the why. Now let's talk about what actually helps. The single most effective technique I've found, and this is backed by research, is something called the 2-minute rule. But I'm going to give you a twist on it. Here it is. Commit to doing your task badly for just 2 minutes. Not well, not perfectly, badly. If you need to write an essay, write the worst, most embarrassing opening paragraph imaginable. If you need to go to the gym, commit to the world's laziest workout. Literally just walk on the treadmill for 2 minutes. This works for two reasons. First, it removes the pressure of perfection. You're trying to do it badly, so there's nothing to fear. Second, starting is the hardest part. Once you're actually doing the thing, even badly, your brain switches modes, and it's way easier to keep going. I use this all the time. I'm just going to write one terrible sentence, and then suddenly I've written 3 paragraphs. The key is, give yourself full permission to stop after 2 minutes if you want to. No guilt. But I bet you won't want to. Remember, doing something is better than doing nothing. So remember, you're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're not alone. Your brain is just trying to protect you.